Tonight on La Silla Caliente, on the hot seat, we have a special treat for our audience. We have a former NFL player who will share his story. His name may not be known, but his story is just as captivating. We have LADSON here with us, who's the gridiron warrior, whose journey is filled with triumphs, setbacks, and everything in between. Thank you, Earl, for being here with us today.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
How does a Bronx boy, a Boy Scout of America, get to become an offensive lineman in the NFL? And we have so many questions tonight.
Holy. Oh, Bronx boy.
Yes, sir.
I don't think he was a boy. He was been grown. Earl is big.
I came out small, but I grew real big.
Earl, you know what's fascinating? I know we're going to go into his career, but being a Boy Scout,
yeah.
I mean, it's just a kid's dream.
Listen, I had to do an after-school activity. You know, my mom worked, and I gravitated towards it. They took us on field trips. I got to actually get out the city. So that was my way of kind of escaping, what we knew, and to see different places, do different things, see different people. It's where I learned how to swim, went camping for the first time.
Did you learn how to make a fire?
I can make
and how to tie a knot?
I can tie a knot.
I mean, I was fascinated. I only saw Boy Scouting movies.
Yeah.
It's
crazy because it was my first job when I was 14, but it gave me a little community and something to be proud of, and it kind of guided me, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, but Earl, just a little background. I mean, where your parents is from?
Yeah, so my mother's Puerto Rican.
You know a little bit Spanish, but
Yo entiendo. Un poquito. But, she's Puerto Rican. She moved here from St. Thomas at 12.
Okay.
So she's, I'm technically first generation.
Nice.
My dad's from America. But, typical story, Bronx kid, mom struggled. But she did it in a way that made her very proud. I never looked at her and saw that struggle, but I respected the work that she did. And I had the drive to make sure she didn't have to always work so hard.
Oh, yes.
So
you put it in the work.
I had to. She told me when I was 10, she was like, listen, you got to go to college. I can't afford it. Figure it out. And I remember when I graduated from high school, she graduated from getting her master's with 2 kids.
Ooh.
So I had no excuse.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So she was
excuse.
big on education,
Big on
right?
education.
From what I saw in your biography is that your mom was a very big, important piece on your education and how you were inspired with all the other things that you've done.
Oh, big time. When she came here, she had to learn English. And so the first thing she did was teach me English. And so I get made fun of from my friends because I'm not fluent in Spanish. But my mother didn't want me to struggle like she struggled. And she saw education as the gate key to have access to everything I wanted to do. And I kind of took that and ran with it.
But you know what? It's so amazing. She had to learn English. But you know how much she had to struggle to learn it. But, to know, where's your Spanish? So if you know all this, I mean, we got to pick it up.
Okay.
Right?
I took 3 years in high school. I took 3 years in college.
But you know what? We had a Mayor Bloomberg. I mean, it was fascinating. One of the richest men and wanted to speak to communicate with people. So that's a new journey.
Listen, I got Duolingo on my phone. I try every day.
Duolingo?
Yes, so that's good. But besides everything, I mean, I'm fascinated by the Boy Scout.
Okay.
We're going to hit everything, every step.
Yes.
But let's go. What age you joined the
Boy Scouts? I started the Boy Scouts in 4th grade.
4th grade, at what age was that?
I was, 9?
You was
so I
9
went
years
to
old.
PS 53,
9 years old.
which is over about 167 between the Clay and Teller. And, just after school, they were there with Scout Reach. And it was funny because they were actually stationed out of the Empire State Building.
Yes.
So for all our leader meetings, we had to go downtown. And for me, I was like, oh, my God, it's a big thing to go downtown.
Right.
But it was cool to see people that looked like me come back to the community and take us out, but also show us things, but also have pride in where we were from. So I enjoyed that aspect.
You was at 9 years old. How tall were you at 9 years old?
At 9, I was probably about 5'6".
Oh, 5'6". So you was in that tall.
That's pretty big.
No, that was pretty big for a 9-year-old.
For a 9-year-old?
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm thinking about 6'6".
No, I had 2 growth spurts.
Okay.
The first one is like middle school, 5th grade. 5th grade ended, I was like 5'10".
Okay.
And I was huge, tall, gordito, but it's okay.
But I mean, do you have that from your pops?
No, I'm actually the tallest person in my family.
The tallest person.
So, I tease her one time I'm a science experiment. as I said earlier, I came out premature.
Yeah.
I came out 3 months early.
They always say that.
They say the preemies come out,
That was
they
3
grow
pounds,
big.
4 ounces.
Okay, so you know that because I have a younger brother, and I'm normally put a lot of cereal, but he don't put belly cereals and drink a lot of milk.
Right.
You one of those?
I ate all my veggies. I ate all my food. I got my sleep.
You didn't miss a meal.
I didn't miss a meal.
Yeah.
When my sister got picky, I took her food. We made it okay.
Amazing. I mean, did Boy Scout, how much you learned there?
Oh, man, I learned so much between money management, how to get involved in my community, how to swim. Shoot, I learned how to shoot guns. I learned how to identify animals, leaves.
Yes.
It was everything that I didn't know I needed to know. I had an avenue to try to find and explore, and that was the best part for me.
How far did you go in the Boy Scout? Because I know, they're not still calling you a Boy Scout, right? Are you like a Scout leader? Are you? How far did you get into the Boy Scout?
It's actually a funny story. I got into a Life Scout. I had all the merit badges I needed to be an Eagle Scout, which is the highest honor, but that's kind of when I started to pick up football.
Yes.
And I remember I went to my head coach at the time. I was like, hey, Coach O'Neill, it's Thursday. I got to go to my Boy Scout meeting at 4:30. He's like, I know you're a Boy Scout, but what do you mean? We got practice. And I was like, but I've been doing this since I was 9. And he was like, yeah, you're going to be doing something different now. Don't worry, it's going to work out for you. So,
amazing.
Sophomore, junior year in high school, I stopped. I tried to finish in college because I was still young enough, but I never got around to doing it. And it's one of the miniature regrets I have in life because I don't like having anything unfinished.
Yeah.
But I'm still proud to be a Boy Scout. I still talk to all my friends from Boy Scouts and my coworkers. So it's good to see everybody's still doing their thing.
Go ahead,
So I worked at the school where he was a student at, and he proudly wore his sash with his blazer. Like all the time, you would see Earl walking down with his sash with all his pins decorated. Now those pins represented accomplishments.
Correct.
Of different levels that you got. Like if you built made a fire, tied a knot, then so you were filled with those notches.
Think of each merit badge as almost like a class. So depending on what the class was, you can do it in a week, 3 weeks. But every merit badge was a different class or course that I took. To get Eagle Scout, you needed 27. And so I was also proud to have it because I did it, but I also didn't know a lot of Boy Scouts in the school. And I remember when I was younger, it was like, oh, he's a Boy Scout, but there's no Boy Scouts around here, and I got teased for it. So I said, if you're going to tease me for it, I'm going to be proud of it. And once I put that chip on my shoulder, you really...
No, it is amazing because I just because you have that shirt, Miss Fernandez forgot to say what school she worked in.
Yes, sir.
Because when you came in today, in the backstage, you said Miss Fernandez. So I know as Miss Rosie.
I am known as Rosie to everyone else, but my students all know me as Miss Fernandez, which is very sweet. And it's really an honor to see, and I'm very proud to see my students now be grown men and have done things in their lives, like become NFL players.
That's correct. Now we're going to join into that. It's going to be very amazing because I know time is limited on TV. But let's go now to the high school years.
Right.
You're in the high school years. What motivated you to join to be a football player?
It's funny. So I transferred high school sophomore year, and I started at Cardinal Hayes High School. And it's a whole long story of my brother used to be a personal trainer. I'd go work out with him after school. And one of his clients actually was on the board at All Hallows. And they're like, hey, you play sports? And I was like, no, not really. And they're like, would you want to? I was like, sure. Do you have good grades? And I was like, yeah, I'm on the honor roll. My mother doesn't, play that game. And they're like, what about football? And no one in my house played football. New York City is a basketball city. I was a big, tall kid. I didn't have the greatest basketball skills. So I said, you know what? I'm okay with chasing football and letting that be something different, taking on that challenge. And I didn't start playing until my junior year in high school. And I remember the first day, Coach Neal was like, all right, starters go in. And I'm sitting like, well, no, it's not me. I just got here. Yeah. And he's like, oh, no, you're in. I'm going to throw you in the fire, and you're either going to grow or you're going to come back. And I kind of just took that and ran with it.
That's an interesting statement because so many kids now start at so young to play football. And you are somebody who started junior year of high school.
Correct.
And got a full ride to Delaware.
Yes.
Full ride. So... But
that's amazing.
Let's take it in high school. I mean, did y'all won any championship titles?
I tell you what, man. I'm so proud of Cardinal Hayes where we're at as a football school.
Yes.
This year, we're 2023 New York State champs.
Yes.
And when I was there, we were in the lowest division in New York City. We worked our way up. Okay. And, one of the biggest things, we played our rival, Mount St. Michael. When I was there, we didn't beat them in 40 years.
Wow.
It was a big deal. So my last season, we actually lost in the city championship to Spelman. Okay. And the only game we had left after that was to play Mount on Thanksgiving. and it was also my birthday. So I was like, I'm gonna go out. I got to go out on top. And we broke the streak. We beat them for the first time, and literally ever since my senior year, Cardinal hasn't looked back. We kept going up, and now we're state champs.
You know what? I received right now the email.
Okay.
They said you're a Hall of Famer of Cardinal Hayes.
So
that email, I don't know. That email that I just received right now, they said you're a Hall of Famer.
I wish I was a Hall of Famer. They get a nice little red jacket.
Yes.
Last year I did get an award at the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Okay.
So I'm not a Hall of Famer yet, but I think I'm one step closer. That's the goal.
So you're not there yet. I want to make sure my paparazzi and everything else get the information correct.
So no, I won a Young Alumni Award last year. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of my school and what it did for me. Like, it changed my life. I tell any kid, we need to find a place, we need a home, come to Hayes, we'll take care of you.
Come to Hayes.
Yes, sir.
Now, we're going from Hayes to college.
Yes. University of Delaware.
University of Delaware.
Full ride.
University of Delaware.
Amazing.
And what does that mean for full ride? Just for those that don't maybe know what a full ride is.
Tuition was paid for, meals, room, board, books. I didn't worry about anything. I just had to be a good student athlete.
Keep those grades.
Yeah, keep those grades.
And now meals for football players. That bill has got to be like something astronomical.
Earl was over buffet.
Oh yeah, every meal was a buffet. As a Bronx boy, I brought my Tupperware with me, so if I got hungry in my dorm room, I had food at home too.
You still hungry?
Oh yeah, I was hungry.
Yes.
So they changed the rules, the NCAA, but when I was there, the meal plan gave us 19 meals a week. So I averaged about 3 meals a day and then 2 meals a day on the weekends.
Amazing.
And then after that.
Oh, you weren't going to survive on that.
No, I was not. So I made sure I packed some sandwiches, packed some cold cuts and took care of myself.
Just to go, very organic, going to how was it for your mom to leave her baby, going to college? I know she's proud.
Right.
But, and for you, going to a place that you never been there without your family.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
I looked forward to it. As much as I love New York City and the Bronx is my home, I love challenges. And when I went to University of Delaware, I didn't know anyone from Delaware. I didn't know where Delaware was on a map. But at the end of the day, I had space to grow as my own as a man, but I can also be home in 2 hours. So I knew I was far enough to grow and have that opportunity and that independence, but also close enough. If there was an emergency, my mom would be there quick.
Delaware a football state?
Yeah, Delaware loves its football, man.
So, being from the Bronx, being a colored person, how was you was received in Delaware?
I was received with open arms, and I know I'm blessed. When anyone asks me about college, I know I had the best experience. You go to my classroom, I still got Delaware stuff. I still have my friends from Delaware I still talk to. I still go visit. Kids that I play with now coach on the team. Delaware was good to me. They were very nice people. There was times, I remember my first year, I'm a kid, I lose stuff. I leave my phone away. The next day it'd pop up in my locker like, oh, hey, you left this. And I was like, listen, if I was in New York, it's gone. I'm not getting it back.
Exactly. They'd be selling that phone in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Being that it's a football state, what was the difference in the way football is received here in the Bronx versus now a whole football state that they go out, they're doing tailgating. What was that experience like for you as a Bronx kid?
The only way I can compare it is imagine how New Yorkers love their Knicks and Giants.
Yes.
That's how Delaware loved their college team. Every weekend we sold out 20,000 plus fans.
Wow.
And everyone knew me. So like the community was bought in because there was no major sports teams. Like, some people were fans of the Philly teams. They would drive, half an hour, 45 minutes. But if you're from Delaware and you want to see a Delaware team, we were the biggest show in town. So everyone knew you.
Okay, now you in college want to make it. Now your goal is to make it to the NFL.
It was crazy because, man, I'll tell you right now, I'll be honest. I was 3 years old. I'm sorry, not 3 years old. I was in 3rd grade. And, do your little school project. What do you want to be when you grow up? I put 3 things. An NFL player, a teacher, and a chef. Okay. And I joke with my students that I did 2 out of 3, so I'm just waiting to open a restaurant. But I haven't been a chef yet. I can cook at home, but it's not too late, right? Yes. I didn't go to college with the idea to be the NFL player because my mom stressed school.
Right.
So I said, let me go be a good student athlete. But the minute I stepped foot on that field, I wanted to always be the best. Okay. Like when I walked on the field, I knew I was the man, and whoever was the man, I had to make sure I beat them, so they knew I was the man. Okay. It was about my 3rd year. You have what's called a pro day. So on a pro day, all the NFL teams come and watch you work out.
Yes.
And
you must talk to your camera 3 with
okay,
your
audience, I'm sorry.
So but they could look at you, have some face.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So you know, my buddies are getting looked at. A couple of them went to the Ravens. Shout out to Gino, he's still coaching. And I was like, wow, like I'm seeing it full circle. I go to Chipotle afterwards, and all the coaches are there. And I was like, I'm not going to talk to them because they don't know me. I'm just, you know, I'm Earl. Right. And, you know, one of the coaches tapped me. He's like, don't worry, we'll be back here in 2 years for you. And I was like, oh, this is real. I can do this. And in that moment, my mindset shifted of, I know I'm going to graduate already. Now let me go chase this dream too. And from that point on, I was all football all the time.
Do you win any championship in college?
We lost the national championship my sophomore year by a point to Eastern Washington. It still hurts to this day.
Is that
national championship? We lost by a point.
Now, your college years is done.
Yes.
I mean, you made it to the All-Star?
Yes.
Okay. What happened after the All-Star that the draft is coming? I mean, what was the experience there?
So that whole experience, it's scary, you know, because you don't know anything. You just got to be the best version of yourself. And at the end of the day, you know, people are going to say what they're going to say. The media's going to say what they want. You know, there's only 32 teams. There's only so many spots. And when you're a competitor, you love that. But as a kid, I was like, maybe this is done. Is it over? And for me, I was blessed to be able to keep playing. But no one tells you the prep behind the scenes, take care of your body, nutrition, to have to relearn football. Because, you know, what I learned in high school is different than what I learned in college. And when you go to the pros, it can be the same style of play, but it's all different verbiage. So it's almost like learning a different language all over again on the fly. And if you're not good enough, fast enough, you're going to get replaced.
Yes. So, I mean, you went through that process where players got to be physically watched? Yeah. They got to know, see how you walk, how you present yourself. Can you take us to that process?
Yeah. I mean, I remember at the All-Star game, you know, they built like a runway in this big hotel ballroom, and there's a guy on the loudspeaker, Earl LADSON, 6'6", 335 pounds. They're calling out your body fat percentage, calling out how big your hands are, calling out how big your wingspan is. It's almost weird to be treated, you know, I don't want to say like an animal, but it felt like I was a cow that people were buying.
Right.
Yes. And
from head to toe, you were just being like
they gave every measurement of who I was, but nothing about who I am as a person.
Correct.
And that to me gave me more fuel to be better, because I don't want to be just numbers on a paper. I am still a human, and I think I always want to bring my organic human self to that experience. And then when you get there, you know, just because I remember I signed my first contract, 3 years, $1.5 million. I still have it to this day.
So what was you know, coming there? What was that experience? Rose, can you imagine that experience? His mother struggling for another country, seeing her son sign a contract like that, receiving that call. How was the whole family members?
I tell you, I made sure I said I wanted nobody in the house. I was my mom. I said I don't want to see anyone over here. Yes. I don't want to be watching the draft. I want to just be a kid. And sure enough, everyone came to my house. They're like, "Oh, we're here for Mother's Day." I was like, "Mother's Day's next weekend, guys. Like, come on, you're here for me." And I remember the draft ended, and I had this huge lump in my chest. I was like, "Damn, I didn't get picked. Like, I thought I was good. I guess I'm not." Within the next half an hour, I had 10 teams lined up, and I remember telling my agent, I said, who called me first? You know, whoever wanted me first, I'm going to go there, and I'm going to have the best time.
What team?
The Oakland Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders.
The Raiders,
I mean, I'm talking about the Doom.
Yeah.
The Legion of Doom.
You got the silver and black. The Raiders. Yes,
that's scary when everybody gets there. I did my history.
Okay.
They said, when you're a fan from another team, you better not go to Oakland.
No, I mean, listen, I love Oakland. I love the people of Oakland. I love the Bay to this day. And it was funny because it's actually on a baseball field they used to play on in Oakland Coliseum when the A's played.
Oh, really?
And
now they're in Vegas.
Yeah, now they're in Vegas, right?
Yes, correct.
But when you went onto that field, man, the fans, they loved you. You felt at home. You know, and I don't know how many people have been to the West Coast, but Oakland's a real, real town. But it's not San Francisco, so that love was real, and I appreciated it.
You know what, Miss Fernandez? I don't want Miss Fernandez to get mad with me, so I want Miss Fernandez to ask some questions.
Okay.
Listen, Mike, I want to bring it back just like a tad to where the draft happens.
Yes.
Do you get a phone call that says you have to make that decision, like I'm going to go into the draft, and you enter yourself? Like, what is that process like? Okay. And how do you get undrafted? Right. And then how do you get picked after that?
So because in NCAA, there's rules about when agents can and cannot talk to you. And so the season ends, the spring becomes
young
the
Earl
agents
on the screen.
The agents start calling you. And it's strange because it's like, I don't know who to trust. Like, I don't know if this agent has my best interest. I don't know why he knows me, because for all I know, he only knows me as a football player. He doesn't know me as a person. And I had big-time trust issues, you know, in college. I interviewed a bunch of them, you know, and sure enough, the ones that, you know, made my first line, I made them come home, meet my mom. and whoever she was most comfortable with. And, you know, we went with that guy, Jeff Jankovic, who I still talk to this day. He's an amazing man. Awesome. And, you know, I haven't played in a decade, but we're still friends, you know, so, like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing.
And so after you get that, you get your agent, you go through the whole pre-draft process. Draft ends, he called me, legit. It was half an hour. He said, these are the 10 teams I have. Where do you want to go? Pick. And it's like, you got to tell him right then on the spot.
So you just pick out of a...
Yeah.
I said, who picked me first? He said Oakland. I said, we're going to Oakland.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Because now, I see the Cleveland Brown, the photos. I see the Raiders.
Yes.
And you said the Raiders, Cleveland Brown. So you had a few teams.
Yes.
How was that moment when, you know, you're in the NFL and then you get traded?
So actually, the crazy part, I didn't even get traded. I made it through my first training camp. And at the end of the day, you start camp with about 100, 120 dudes on the roster. For the season, you got to cut down to 53. So every week, you see more and more guys leaving, and you're just like, I hope it's not me, I hope it's not me. So every practice is important because there's guys you see at breakfast, you won't see at lunch.
Wow.
You know, and that's the margin of error, really. You know, just because you made it there, you have to stay there every day. And just because I signed that 3-year contract in the NFL, it's not guaranteed. And it's the difference between baseball and basketball, but in football, you know, you see a lot of players argue for that guaranteed money, argue for those guaranteed contracts. It's because without that, they can get fired the next day and nothing happens.
But the main thing is the bonus.
Yes.
That you get. You get your bonus guarantee.
Correct.
That is your. Okay, so I mean, because you know we're on television.
Yes.
And we want to get to you.
Yeah. I'll speak faster. I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Because we're getting from Boy Scout all the way to the NFL.
Yes.
I mean, right now, where you know, just we leaving the NFL now to go. What are you doing now?
So now I'm back home in the city. I'm in New York. I'm teaching at Cardinal High School.
What?
I'm giving back to the place that gave me so much.
You back to the school?
Yes, sir.
Now I received another email.
Okay.
I mean, Colonel Hayes have a history with you.
Yes.
The email say I was, you know, I got a different paparazzi now that said you have family members.
I did.
Graduate from Colonel Hayes.
I did. My uncle and my dad, you know, Earl Latson Sr. and Garrison Latson, both went to Cardinal Hayes High School. And for that reason, you know, I grew up on 161 of the Concourse. I did not want to go to school there. I said, listen, they went there. I want to make my own legacy, do my own thing. And, you know, God always finds a way to put you where you belong, and I found my way back.
But you kept on that legacy.
Yeah.
And now you're a major part of that school.
Big time. And
you're
I
a
love
teacher.
Yes, sir. I teach, I coach, I do it all. Anything the kids need, I'll be there for them.
So now, you know, what message do you have for this young audience that's listening to this, to this podcast, to this platform right now?
Right. The biggest thing I tell my kids today, it's not where you start, it's where you finish, and don't let someone else define you. You know, you define your own success, and just because you lose doesn't mean it's the end. You know, too many times we get knocked down and we accept defeat. You know, you got to have that resilience, you got to have that drive. I didn't win every rep, I didn't win every game, but I knew I was winning at life if I kept going. So my biggest thing is for you to just keep going, never quit.
You know what? You're gonna end it up with that message from our great friend, and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Rosie,
you, Earl. I feel
something?
so very proud of you.
Thank you.
I know that there were struggles within your just getting to where you are, but you've made 2 out of 3 of your dreams.
2 out of 3.
And you should be very, very proud of yourself.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Muchísimas
being here.
gracias. We are leaving. Nos vamos ahora. Thank you. Esa fue la hot seat.